Hello everybody, Sean here, and we're taking a look at the Nameless King boss fight, one of, if not the toughest boss in Dark Souls 3. And before even getting to the fight, when you are preparing, make sure to buff up your lightning and fire defense as much as you can, particularly lightning. However, during phase 1 there is going to be some fire as well, so if you can buff up either of those, it's going to be a huge bonus to your survivability. And again, lightning is definitely the key one there, so if you can buff up lightning even just a little bit, it could mean the difference between winning and losing this fight. Now, when you get into the fight, you first need to fight the King of Storm. You see the Nameless Kings riding him. The King of Storm is only weak around his neck and head area. Don't think you can just cheese the fight by hitting his legs. The developers thought of that. They've realized you've cheesed probably many dragons in the Souls series by now by hitting them in their feet. So this time around, the feet are nearly invincible, and you must hit his neck and head. So that means that the best spot for you to be is beneath his neck and head area. While you're standing there, the dragon only has pretty much one way of dealing with you, and that is to fly into the air and breathe a huge cone of fire down onto you. As soon as you see the dragon leave the ground, and even if you're not sure it's trying to breathe fire, but as soon as you see him leave the ground for any reason, start running. If he goes to breathe fire, then you're going to be out of range. And if he's going to do something else, well, then you could deal with that as it happens. However, that's not all you need to be mindful of while standing beneath the dragon. While you're underneath his neck and head area, the Nameless King will also try to hit you as well. He has three basic things that he will do. One is a stab attack where he thrusts the spear forward to try to hit you. Another is a sweeping series of attacks where he will swing once, swing again, and then swing a third time if he thinks he can hit you. And then finally, the third is to throw a small lightning bolt at you. It's tough to see these coming because if you're standing beneath the neck, you can't really see the Nameless King. You just need to look out for the telegraphs. Usually the dragon will move its head when the Nameless King is about to attack you, so that's a good telegraph that something bad's about to happen and that you should get out of the way. But pretty much, again, whether melee or mage, the best spot to be is beneath the neck. You see, when I'm standing in front, I'm taking a lot more damage. You gotta be beneath the creature. That is the safest spot. Again, you do see me taking the odd hit here, but I must stress this really is the safest spot because out in front, they utilize a lot more attacks. At least when you're beneath them, you can dodge the attacks a little better. You can get hits in on the dragon, and ultimately, you know, it might take a couple attempts, but ultimately you will get through phase 1. And once you get the hang of the attacks and you know what animations are going to lead to what attacks, you can really breeze through phase 1 of this fight. It's phase 2 that's going to be the real challenge, and you're probably wondering, well, phase 1 is already brutal enough. Does phase 2 really pose much of a threat? And trust me, the Nameless King is no joke. And if you know the lore behind the Nameless King, which I do really suggest you look up some of the lore surrounding the Nameless King, as it's quite wonderful, you'll know why he is so incredibly powerful. So phase 2 will begin after a short cutscene where you see he absorbs the soul and energy of his fallen comrade, and he's probably pretty upset with you that you killed his friend. So for phase 2, it's going to be a 1v1 fight. You can try to tank through this, although it's really not suggested, as the Nameless King does tremendous amounts of damage, so you need pretty much an ultra great shield, or else nothing else will really deal with the impact of his blows. You can see for the fight, I'm opting to dodge through his attacks, which is a viable option. His attacks, although very hard-hitting, tend to be easy to dodge due to the slowness of the wind-up. They have a very long wind-up animation. They're well telegraphed. Most of his attacks are swipes or stabs. You'll see a few lunge attacks like that. But what you need to be careful of is this right here. This is so important for melee characters. After taking so many hits, he will become stunned. Get in front of him immediately, and you can get a riposte off on him for 1,000+ damage, and it is a huge, huge bonus to you and to the damage needed to kill the boss. If you're a mage during this fight, keeping distance between you and the Nameless King is going to be difficult. He has quite a few lunge attacks that can close gaps. However, if you're a pyromancer, he really does not like fire, and he's not a big fan of sorceries either. Miracles, obviously, they're not going to be quite as effective. But pyromancy and sorcery, They will get the job done. You can maintain distance from him. It's just be mindful of him and his lunge attacks. Otherwise, you either have to approach this fight with two philosophies. You're either going to dodge his attacks, which is possible, it's just going to take practice, or tank through them. If you're going to tank through them, make sure it's an ultra great shield you're using. No other shield will do it. You have to have an ultra great shield, preferably one with very high lightning resistance. But that's really all we could say. This fight is tough. There is no way to cheese it. There's no easy method of taking him down. It's just going to take a little bit of practice and the right equipment. But there you guys go. That's the Nameless King. I thank you for watching, and we'll see everyone next time.